Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Ricada of Ricada Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota, as you know. And if you don't know, how did you even get here? How did you find out about this? This is our club. I mean, you're welcome to stay, I guess, but know that this place is ours. Okay. Well, guys, here's the deal. It is, oh my goodness. It is after Christmas, which I'll get to that super chat in a minute. Thank you, none of your business. It is after Christmas. It is pre-New Year's. It's in this weird limbo time where no one's doing any work, right? Because everybody's like, we're just off. It's fine. It's just fine. We don't need to do anything. And you know what? That is not exclusive to people who are not YouTube streamers. There's a couple negatives in there, but I think you can catch my drift. I have been in like full-on decompress recovery mode after Christmas. It is that time of year where I am just like, well, I'm finished forever with everything. And it is tough to get into the swing of things. Yesterday, so my parents were up, they visited. It was awesome having them around. And the kids got to spend some time with them. So they took the kids overnight for 2 days. I'm like, all right, we get some quality time with Lady Rackets, get to hang out, like do dinner or whatever without like scrambling around to feed kids, eating your dinner cold. And what do? We sit down last night. I mentioned that Roadhouse was on Prime. It was like, oh, baby, we're going to do some Roadhouse tonight. It's going to be awesome. This is going to be great. Sit down to watch The Witcher. Episode 2, I think, of season 2. And I'm like, okay. Poof, immediately asleep. I mean, immediately out. Like 7:30 p.m., I fall asleep. And then I wake up at some point and go to bed because I'm just passed out on the couch. I'm so old. I'm like, what is this? I didn't even have my oatmeal. And so I wake up. I remember Lady Rackets. She fell asleep too. This is not just me. Okay? She falls asleep. I fall asleep. At some point she says, I'm going to the bedroom. And I'm like, yeah, I'm asleep. And I get up eventually and go to bed. I don't know what time this is. But around 2 a.m, I wake up. Wonder if I should put a little makeup, right? No, I wake up immediately, like full on awake. Like, okay, I've slept for a century, which was weird. And then I just laid in bed and I'm like, okay, well, I can't sleep. I'll check my phone, try and sleep. Doesn't work. So I'm like, okay, well, I get up. Then I get up and just like horse around. I play some Diablo, just chilled out. And then I go back upstairs around 8 or 9. And then I sleep till like 1. Oh my God, this is it. My whole sleep schedule is destroyed. It's just completely ruined. And so it's like, okay. It has been like, my body is like, nope, you stop. You just sit your ass down in the corner and you go to sleep. So I did for a while. But we're back to it. That's why there was no daytime show today. There should be a daytime show tomorrow, probably. I gotta work some things out. But here's what we've got coming up, guys. I'm not sure what day yet, but it looks like we will have an interview with Earl Grey. It looks like that will happen, hopefully sometime in the very near future. So I just wanted to put that out there, working on that, working on the interview with Grambo as well. And that should be something that we can work out also. So Grambo and Earl Grey, I will announce when we have the times for it. Of course, I don't know how much time either of them will be able to give us. You know, Earl's very busy. He's got trial coming up for, I believe, Officer Thomas Lane, who is one of the officers assisting in the Floyd arrest that went the arrest that went wrong, right? That went very, very wrong. So we'll be and I don't know how much he'll be able to talk about that case. I don't know how much he'll be able to talk about Kim Potter, but the man's been practicing criminal defense for something like 50 years. And so I think he'll probably have some stories to tell. All right. So that's coming. That's coming up for sure. Also, hope to get Az Heel versus Babyface, a friend of mine, on the channel for a daytime, because he's a Brit. And the Brits don't work on proper people time. They work on some weird, like, universal time or GMT or some garbage. That's all basically fake. But hope to have him on. We tend to do painting streams. We paint and tell jokes and talk culture. They're very relaxed. So we're gonna hope to get him on now that things have calmed down and before the next trial starts. I will maybe be cashing in an interview with Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. We'll see. We'll see. Got to schedule some things, but know that the daytime shows are kind of primed to do some of those interviews when a trial is not happening, because it's at a more reasonable time for other people. So, but I have been very lax in doing anything show related since Christmas Eve. And for that, I mildly apologize, but not so much, because, you got to not burn out. You got to not burn out. And these trials are really, really taxing. So with that, oh, hey, is Az in the chat? Hey, there he is. Speak his name and he shall appear. Az, we need to do a stream soon, buddy. I miss you, you beautiful man. I've got to finish this Soul Drinker that I've been painting forever. So, what else we got? Oh, people are asking when Drex is coming on next. Thursday. Assuming everything doesn't go to garbage with the weather and all that stuff. Thursday is the plan to have Drexel on the show. Probably Friday as well. And we will be talking about Jack Murphy. It's gonna happen. It's unfortunately, it's gotta happen. Cut College will be in session. And guys, so here's the deal. There's this interview. I've teased it a couple times. We've talked about, I'm not going to bring up the article again. You know it. You love it. It's degenerate. It's disgusting. And it's everything the internet needs. It's everything the internet needs. Eric Winberg says Geeks and Gamers is going to beat you to it. Yeah, no, I know he is. and I may help him on it. I may be there too. We'll see. But so I'm not going to bring it up today, but we're going to go through the entire article. Now, some of you may not know that there's more than just this article. Okay? Some of you may not realize that Jack did an interview about this article back in 2016. And some of you may not realize that Jack's girlfriend also did an interview at the same time. So we will be tuning into that as well with Drexel, and we will get the full story. We will get the full story on it. So don't do it. Don't be this way. Don't do it. If you look, if you want to be into the cuckoldry, if you want to do that, then you go ahead and do that. Just never, ever tell anybody ever. And maybe don't come out of whatever gimp cage you're kept in. Just don't do it. Because, whew. But that being said, we're gonna go through it, and then we'll talk about the PR issue, the PR fallout issue of not addressing things directly, right? We'll be, I don't know, just as a preview for that. Let me preview that discussion. Address things, especially things that you like advocated. Address them directly. That's the way to handle these things. Think about this. Had he addressed the article briefly and directly on that podcast, would anybody be talking about it? Like, I mean, maybe, but it would have been entirely blunted. It would have been entirely blunted. And I've said this a million times. I'll briefly say it again. You say, hey, that's where I was then. This is where I am now. You notice how different they are. You notice how damaging it was. That's what you had to do at the onset. You had to do it. But and I wouldn't be talking about this. I actually wouldn't be talking about this but for the fact that someone slid into my DMs and suggested maybe I take down my tweets. For what? For you? And didn't ask, by the way. Suggested that it would be in my best interest to do so. So with that, I was done. I made my 3 tweets about it. It was over. Haha, had my laughs. But no. Sorry. I don't I don't do that. I don't take things down. Not like if I typo something, I'll take it down, right? If Twitter makes me take it down, I'll take it down because you have to. But that's about it. So with that, that will all be covered on Drex when Drex is out here. Thursday, I think. Thursday, I think, is the day. So I mean, that's the, do you remember those, do they still sell those Duraflame logs? It's like one little crappy log that you buy to have the worst fire in history. It's like you buy one log, you light the package on fire and it just burns forever. It's like, look, you built a fire. It's like, well, no, I mean, you didn't though. That's what this thing is. It just is rumbling through. It's like the trashiest, most garbage fire ever, but it just keeps going. So anyway, that's that. Okay, tonight I have a story for you. I don't know how long we're gonna. I hesitate to say this. I don't know how long we're gonna go tonight because I don't. I don't know if we'll make it the full 3 hours. Whatever the case, as long as we end at a reasonable time for those who are here, Roadhouse on Twitch after the show. Unless the show runs really long. If it doesn't work out that we do Roadhouse tonight, if the show runs long, which I don't know how it can. I've done basically zero prep work. But if the show happens to run long, if we don't get to Roadhouse, we'll get to it very, very soon. So, but Roadhouse on Twitch, watch party will be a lot of fun. The other thing, I've been enjoying playing Diablo 2 on Twitch as well. If during the trial, my Twitch time was severely limited. When court's not in session, I try to do a Twitch show after the live show at night. So if you guys are not familiar with that, become familiar with that. Oh, let me address this since it's out there. Since it's out there, yes, there's stupid Discord drama. Because that's Discord and drama are the 2 Ds that spit roast everybody. There's Discord drama. The drama is simple. I'll lay it out very, very carefully. Okay. Or very, very succinctly. Since some people have seen that my Discord server, like I'm going to nuke it or whatever, it's an incomplete report. Here's what happened. I got a whole bunch of complaints about various things in the Discord. I got complaints from moderators. I got complaints from moderated people. I got complaints from people about non-moderation activities. There are a bunch of complaints because it turns out when you let a bunch of assholes into one place, some percentage of them will act like assholes, right? Like that's just life. And me, I want this serene Discord of total whatever, like freedom. But Discord doesn't let you do that. So there's some level of moderation that has to happen for Discord's terms of service. Otherwise, your server gets yeeted and everybody's Discord accounts get deleted. And that sucks. So there's some level of moderation that has to happen. But then there are people who think the moderation goes too far. And the last thing I want to do during while working on creating content or whatever is deal with this. I mean, this is like something that shouldn't even be an issue in my opinion, but it always is. It's always there. So I put a post in my moderator only or my admin only chat. I said, hey guys, I've been thinking a lot about the Discord and what to do with it. I'm not sure if I want to keep it up because it's a pain. People don't like various things. And the complaints just, I'm not sure they're worth dealing with. If we can, and I'm like never here. So I know that sucks. So is there some other thing we can do? Maybe it would be time to find an alternative, but I'm not sure. Somehow that got translated out of the admin channel as I'm thinking about doing things with the Discord at some point in the future that is not set in stone to Nick is nuking the Discord server. Quick, get your life rafts, find other servers, and make your friend requests now. And I'm like, what the hell? What the hell is this? Like, what? I mean, okay. So with that, the Discord server is not getting nuked at this point. If it were to be getting nuked, it would be announced ahead of time. There would be a lead up to it. However, there is probably some changes coming. There is change or are changes coming to the Discord to fix it. I'm not sure what that is because, like I said, the complaints are not uniform. The problems with it are not unilateral or one directional or anything like that. So stay tuned for that. But I like locals because it's basically free speech. I like Discord because it includes a speech that locals doesn't let you do for the most part, and some people just like the live nature of the Discord. I like what it does, but I just really do not want to spend a bunch of time hearing adults complain. Oh my God! Like, can you? I know you're listening to. Well, I'm gonna use adults on me loosely. I know you're listening to an adult complain right now, but it's that whole. This is why they hire people to do customer service at minimum wage. No one wants to actually listen to a complaint. Jesus. It's like, oh, okay. Can you try just not doing that part? So anyway, that's that's the if you've seen stuff about that, that's where that is. That's where that is. Zero BP, I blame autism. Me too. You're on the spectrum. You need to be thrown off the train. Just kidding. Just kidding. Real autism is actually fine, but internet autism is a cancer on society. But we'll figure it out. How's that? We'll figure it out. Things will be situated and organized in some way. Oh gosh. New Year's resolution, maybe. New Year's resolution. I will not go into the Discord and ban everybody. And let's see how long that lasts. It's whiskey o'clock. It's whiskey o'clock. So we're going to do that. Other than that, I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. The between times here. Will all of the whiskey please come out of the bottle? There we go. So, whiskey bottles have a pretty normal shape, right? Some version of this. And there's this amazing thing called gravity. And so when you take a whiskey bottle and you turn it upside down, gravity ensures that that liquid will come out because there's nowhere else for it to go. But there are also fun whiskey bottles like this one. But gravity has an issue with this one because you can see the liquor pooling here. It doesn't, it sticks down in these crevices. This is why bottles aren't shaped like boxes. Oh, I do have, I have something. I see excuse me. A bunch of you saying gravity doesn't exist. Gravity isn't real. Well, I think you're right. Gravity doesn't exist and gravity isn't real, and neither is Australia. Now, many of you have heard me actually say this. Many of you have heard me say that Australia is not real, but it has finally been confirmed and proven that Australia is not real. So, you don't have to take my word for this anymore. we're going to go ahead and do this. And I'll show you that Australia is not real. And I will also, if any of you have never heard of what a VTuber is, you're about to learn. So I hope you know these, you have to understand, okay, that VTubers as a category, as a class, are the highest super chat earning shows on the entire planet. It's not even close. You think I do good on super chats? And I do well. Think I do well on super chats? I do. Do you think Tim Pool, who does well on super chats, you think he does well on super chats? He does. He does. Not even close. So I know many of you have no idea what VTubers are or whatever because God favored you until this moment. But that favor is gone because now I'm going to introduce you to the top shelf content, the top level. This is the pinnacle of entertainment by the numbers, empirically proven to be consistently the highest paid content on YouTube live streaming. I'm about to show you what it is. Are you ready? And they are the ones who are going to tell us about Australia. So here we go.
I don't think I've ever seen a real Christmas tree down under here before.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe they don't have them where you are.
They probably do. I'm just
They're
just
like,
unaware.
yeah, evergreen trees.
Pine
fir
trees?
trees.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're very common in North America, but I don't know
Oh.
where else
Faye's
they
never seen
they
a
grow.
tree confirmed. Man, I just look, okay. No, I can't deny I've never seen a real Christmas tree before.
Never.
They
Not
don't
once.
have trees in Australia.
No, they do, but like Christmas trees? But he never goes
You guys
outside.
don't have any trees at all. That's so sad. No wonder you're so hot all the time.
Oh my god, and I can't breathe, there's no oxygen.
No oxygen.
Man. There's no trees in
Yep.
in Australia. Australia doesn't
It's
exist.
so sad.
Everything's a lie.
There you go. See? Australia doesn't exist. Everything's a lie. Everything. Every single thing is a lie. Australia doesn't exist. We've learned that now from a VTuber because VTubers are the number one, the tippity top of live stream content. I wanted to bring you the experts. I wanted to bring you the truth. And the only way I could do it was to bring in a VTuber. That's the number one by a long shot. Now, not those particular VTubers, although I believe those two are very popular. Someone sent me that clip to prove that Australia wasn't real, which is true. Australia is not correct. They're not real. It's not a thing that exists. But that, guys, do you have any idea how much money people are throwing at them? It's amazing. It is amazing. Whew. Don't, I'm not going to tell you what entertainment to watch, but I will never ever get, Mark Richards' voice. Your Honor, I object. There's this show on YouTube called VTubers. V stands for vagina, I think, but I'm not sure because they're cartoons. It's a little weird. People want to see him naked, and it's distressing to me, Your Honor. And I just don't really get it, because I mean, I just have all of my anime nudes in hard form. So there you go. Yeah, it's a strange life. It's a strange life and a strange world that we live in. And by the way, I wish nothing but success to the VTubers. I really do. I will just never understand how disproportionate it is. Like, it's amazing to me. They make Dr. Disrespect look like a peasant. the amount of it's so insane. So anyway, all right. So with that was just a side thing. Tonight we're going to talk about a man, sort of, a judge, a Wisconsin judge, former judge by the name of Brett Blom. Brett Blommy. Some of you are familiar with Brett Blommy. Blom. Some of you are familiar with this former Wisconsin judge. Others of you, unless you watch this show, really have likely never heard of him. And it's curious to me, because to me, this is one of those things where I believe it's imperative that the media should be reporting this. This should be national news. This is an issue coming out of the Children's Court of Wisconsin. Yes, you heard that. The Children's Court of Wisconsin. That should be covered nationally. This should have made headlines. They should have news stories dedicated to this. Because Brett Blom was a hero, is now not. And for all of the weird stuff that you get, this is confirmed disgusting behavior. This is prison behavior that happened. Pleaded guilty, going to prison. We're going to look at all of it, right? We're going to check out what happened. Some of you know the story. Brett Blom has been sentenced now. And so we're going to talk about the sentencing and the other aspects of who this guy is. Because this is horrifying. I mean, I know the media would rather tell you about the dangers of the Proud Boys, or the hit that national news, right? That Charlottesville lawsuit from that rally, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, where Heather Heyer got crushed by a car. But a whole lot of other stuff happened where they set baffling sort of issues where the organizers of an event are held liable for the event itself. Long story short, they were happy to tell you all about this. I mean, to run it on major news networks. Brett Blom got sentenced this month. And I bet many of you never heard a blip about it, other than what you heard maybe here when we talked about when he got charged. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute. First, we've got some super chats that have come in. Speaking of HoloLive and VTubing, I am an R tuber, or maybe it's an N tuber. Is it a nose tube? Is that what it is? I don't even know. I don't even know. But I've got to do my N tuber duty, and we will be reading the super chats, because something I try to do. Lately there have been a couple shows where that has not worked out, and I do apologize for that, but trying to be consistent as possible with it. Super Straight Sage says, I go by many names, but I reverted back to an old one to say this. A woo for Supreme Admin. Let me just say that in the Discord revamp, there may be some rotations in the moderation community or something, because I feel like some people are getting burned out, and that should never, ever, ever, ever happen. Like, that should never be a thing. It should never be a thing that people get burned out doing something fun. So we're gonna try and work that out. Brian says, hi, Nick. I run a paid group about being a man and homesteading. I live in a DC area condo and let my ex-wife run my life. While half of DC bing bongs my questionably young wife. Note, time to dye my beard. Who am I? This is one of those. This is a tough trivia question. I feel like the Jeopardy music should be playing. Wait, does he also talk about homesteading? Does he? Somebody help me out, because I don't know. Like, up until the Jack Murphy Tim Pool conversation, the only thing I ever heard him talk, like, I never heard him talk about it. I just heard him talk about the vaccine thing. When he talks about homesteading, Tim Pool does. Tim Pool's a farmer. Whatever that means. But does Jack also? Okay. All right. Well, the answer to the question, who is Jack Murphy? The question of the question. He sort of talks about homesteading. Okay. I didn't know about that part, but yes, that would be apparently Jack Murphy. Phoenix Lord Asserman says, strange that you would show your nose around here after you lied about watching Roadhouse, Nikki. It's not how this works. I like to you about Prime, not the other way around. Wait, what? I think you typoed that one. Jack Sparrow says, Nick single-handedly ruined my Christmas. I spent all day trying to find the fall, but it only exists in an alternate reality. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I have it on Blu-ray in my storage unit. I was going to go check. I was just talking to Lady Rackets because she and I both, we just love that movie. It's so good, but it's not anywhere. Mario Carter 13 says, tired of the inhuman expectations placed on cops, introducing Criminal ID, the first AI law enforcement algorithm derived from YouTube Content ID. Oh no. Oh no. Phoenix Lord Asserman says, I lied to you about Prime movies, not the other way around. God, I hate this phone's autocorrect. Yeah, I paid it off just to wreck you with that comment. So real quick, just a brief note on the Kim Potter stuff. I did a video. It was a stream recap video with some of the LEO testimonies. Some of you really, really hated the background music, and some of you didn't mind it, and then some of you didn't comment at all. Yeah, that kind of feedback is really helpful, actually. Many people seem to hate the background music, and hey, we're experimenting with things, we're trying things out. So if you letting us know that stuff is good, So, oh, and everything you don't like was my editor's fault, and everything you do like was my great idea. That's also true. So, there you go. But anyway, a brief note on that. There's so many comments there's so many comments about like how sticking up for Kim is like being a status bootlick, or if you you know, Kim Potter is the one who has to suffer for all of the cops who've done bad things, and well, doesn't she get qualified immunity? It's like, well, no. But it's weird that she has become like justifiably punished for the bads of all the cops who didn't get punished. And I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it. I don't like to look at things that way personally, because I don't think that the guy who shot Daniel Shaver's sins are absolved by Kim Potter going to jail, when in my mind, the facts and the law don't support it. And many of you have raised good arguments, right? In messages and comments about the recklessness of carrying a gun in the first place and all that stuff. Is that where the recklessness is? And I mean, I guess maybe that's what the jury came up with. That's not an understanding of recklessness that I'm aware of. The idea that you are doing a legal activity and then you draw the gun when you're not trying to and shoot someone. Here's the deal. Basically every reckless discharge of a firearm case that I've come across, the person knew they were grabbing a gun. Every single one of them knew without question they were grabbing a gun. In fact, they intended to grab a gun. They wanted the gun in their hands for whatever purpose. Now, what happens next? They may not have intended, but they always, always, always intended to grab the gun. And some of the people mentioned that would a private citizen get the same treatment? Well, two things. One, yeah, a private citizen who accidentally grabbed a gun instead of a taser would be entitled to the same defense. I mean, it didn't work out for Potter, right? That didn't work, but they would be entitled to the same defense. But the hard part about that is most people who are not cops are not carrying a taser and a gun. Like that's not a normal thing for average people to do. So to try and pin this off as, well, average citizens wouldn't get the same treatment. Average citizens are all entitled to make the mistake defense. And the reason they tend to lose is because specifically they're grabbing a gun. Like that's why they lose the case. They know they're grabbing a gun because they don't have taser gun confusion as an option on their defense menu, because they're not carrying both. And that's why this case is kind of strange in that way, but it also, is how it is. So that's a weird thing. But I mean, to me, I try and look at cases individually. I don't think the sins of all cops get to fall on the shoulders of one particular cop. And I certainly don't want the sins of bad cops absolved because I think one person's got an edge case and they get a raw deal. That doesn't make sense to me. I would much rather the guy who shot Daniel Shaver go to prison forever than Kim Potter, 10 days out of 10. But I do see a lot of the feedback. I don't always respond because of the time, but I see a lot of comments. I do check throughout the day, try and read some of them, but you guys engage so much that it's hard to, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So, but yeah. Well, anyway, I am interested to ask Earl Grey about it, about the defense, about if he's seen anything. People keep bringing up the Fruityvale Station shooting. I mean, I don't know about that guy. But there's another one just, I think 2 years ago, where a lady cop, weird, said taser, 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 and plugs a guy. He lived, but she shot him. And it was the exact same scenario. Or I shouldn't say it was the exact same scenario. But the guy was resisting arrest with the male cop. Male cop was struggling with the guy. And then it wasn't in a car. It was actually out on the street. But she does the same thing. She draws the gun. She says, taser, 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 blam. Oh shit, I shot him. I mean, it was exactly the same in that respect. And I don't know that she was convicted. So it's a weird thing, because this is a real problem. It really does happen. And one final thing, everybody, to address all of these comments at once, that she was trained, therefore her actions are reckless. No amount of training automatically makes you reckless. It doesn't. Because if you make a mistake and the mistake is genuine, then you can't be reckless, because you can't do it willingly, knowingly, consciously, however you want to word that. Your training actually, in a weird way, conceptually, training is supposed to make your actions less than conscious, subconscious. They're supposed to become reactions. They're supposed to become memorized, rote routines that occur. So the idea that you consciously disregard it would come from you intentionally going against your training, not failing at what you trained against. And Nate the lawyer's video on this decision was really good, because he talked about one of the more common ways that people would run into this, and that's pedal confusion. And for everybody who thinks that Kim Potter is a highly trained, super operative, super cop or whatever, because she did like a 3-hour training once a year for 22 years or something, 19 years, I think. You drive way more than Kim Potter would ever have pulled a gun. Way more. I mean, it's an insane amount of time that people drive. And yet, pedal confusion is a common occurrence in drivers with thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of driving under their belt. They still get pedal confusion. And if they can credibly allege the pedal confusion, that's a valid defense, and they don't go to jail, even if someone dies. So it's just a weird, anyway. Just addressing that training argument. The idea that you've done something a lot, so therefore failure is automatic recklessness, is not how the law works. Now, again, does it mean that she's incompetent or incapable and should be removed? Yes, absolutely. Removed from the job. But prison, I'm just not there. But that being said, we'll move on. SCFU FFS says, was just watching Gen X Joe Logic, and he sent us. Oh, hey, thank you. Welcome to the Good Logic people. I hope Joe's doing well. I haven't talked to him in a couple days. All right. None your business says, here's a late Christmas gift for you. Get a bottle on me. None your business. I will. Thank you. Thank you very much. Janet Morgan says, have you seen the LAPD police body cam footage of the police shooting in a Burlington coat factory? I have not. Is that something we should look at? Jackson Kai says, hey, Nick, could I get a drink or an F for the best brother in the whole world? He couldn't make it out for Christmas, so we went to celebrate with him again, and he had passed away from a heart attack in his late 30s. God bless. Oh, damn. Yes. Yes. To Jackson Kai's brother. Brothers are something special. I don't have a brother. But my boys obviously have brothers. And watching them interact makes me kind of understand how I might have interacted with a brother. And it's a cool thing to see. You know, they're your biggest critic. But they're also your best ally. And when the chips are down You know, the one person you hope you can always count on is your brother. So to Jackson, the loss of a brother is I'm sure devastating. And may his passing be marked, most importantly, by the fact that your family was willing to go to him, that he was not a lost brother, but he was one who was present, who was loved and desired. And may that memory and the strength of that relationship persist on long, long beyond his body. Cheers, brother. Squizgar says, sing along, simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. I refuse to sing that song. I really hate that song so much. Jeremy. I assume it's just Jeremy, but it's spelled a little different. It says, thanks for all the entertaining work, Nick. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Hey, back at you, man. Thank you. Thank you very much for that super chat. Mandy Karavicius says, speaking of age, I went back to see your first videos. My God, you look young, smooth face. But if you want to feel old, I have a song you'll enjoy, Where Rainbows Never Die by the Steel Drivers. Ooh, I have never heard that song. I'll have to check it out at some time. Yeah. Well, half of the looking young was me being significantly younger. The other half was a camera that doesn't pick up as much detail. And, well, you know, many people want me to go back to that. And they say, God, your age makes me feel uncomfortable. Would you please put that hideous thing away? Try a filter. Randall Gully says, same thing the other day. Woke up at 4:30, played Battlefield till 8, then slept until noon. So annoying. Yes. Rick the Slack-Paced Sawyer says, don't you dare say Floyd's arrest went wrong. Thanks to that event, George has turned his life around. He's been off fentanyl for 582 days and no longer gets complaints from his neighborhood. I guess there are positives. Donnie Z says, hey, Nick, could you take a drink for my dad? He had a stroke yesterday morning and he's not going to make it. He is a retired expert tradesman who worked at a shipyard most of his career. Yes. Man, these are rough holiday chats, guys. I only had half a toast in there, so I needed to restock. All right, Donnie, to your father, a retired tradesman, a man who built and sculpted things with his hands and with his will. But most importantly, I would assume he built and sculpted you with his love and his words and his understanding. May his legacy, the most important craft he ever put his mind to, live on in his children. Cheers, brother. Frederick Little says, hey, Nick, I hope you and the rest of your family had a great Christmas. We did. Also, have you considered doing a New Year's cooking stream? I have. And maybe we'll work that out. We'll see. That's a good idea. Well, I'm way overdue for a cooking stream. I just made smoked turkey stock today because we had a smoked turkey for our Christmas dinner. And then I took the carcass and a bunch of the skin because the skin was really leathery. from the smoke and made a smoked turkey stock that I'm going to make into some good stuff in the very near future. Gunblade Knight says, speaking of Diablo 2, I linked an article that I don't know if you saw on to your latest Minds post. I have not. See, Minds does this cool thing. Minds now if you set it up, will mirror your tweets. So like all of my tweets now also go to Minds without me doing any work. The double-edged sword of that is I check Minds less than I did, which is, I need to get back in the habit. I may need to hire someone to help filter through all the social media stuff and I was sitting down earlier and my phone just bzz, 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 and I was this close to throwing it across the room. I hate notifications. I hate phones ringing. And it was nonstop. Jennifer Gunter says, your husband is an executive chef. You should hook up. Are you in the area? Is somewhere around here? Awig, I didn't smoke the turkey. It was not my smoked turkey. So, because when I smoke a turkey, like I slather butter and shit all over the skin, gets crispy and bacony. You can eat it. It's good. This one was different. Jim Satala, we'll maybe take a look at that police shooting later in the show. May I ask what kind of computer chair I have? Yes, I have the Logitech Herman Miller hybrid ergonomic gaming chair. It's got the most comfortable chair seat cushion I've ever experienced. My ass is thoroughly coddled. So Sword and Scale. Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing? I hope you had a good Christmas, man. And if I don't talk to you before then, Happy New Year. He says, Nick, don't smoke turkeys, smoke drugs, eat turkeys. Oh, we gotta do another show. I gotta see what you're up to. It's been a long time. The last time we did a show, COVID was just like kind of kicking off. DRDVS 28 says, what do you think about a doc going to law school? I've been in private practice twice and worked at 3 different universities. Due to family law issues, I've been considering going to law school and working part-time in both fields. It can be done. You are you're accustomed to education. You have a particular set of skills. I have a particular set of skills. That could be very useful. You have experience and knowledge that will help you short circuit a lot of things depending on what type of law you practice. So it can be great. You probably make more money as a doctor, but I don't know what kind of doctor you do. Hickory, North Carolina. Okay. Well, Jennifer, if I'm ever in North Carolina, I'll let you know because I love working with chefs. I love learning to cook more. Cooking's one of my favorite things to do, just as a nice, fun pastime. Rowdy says, first time I saw a VTuber, I felt physically violated just looking at it. Pablo Rodriguez says, thanks for the VTubers. Now I'm unsubbing. Good day, sir. Oh no. Let's see. Matt, Tim, what are you talking about? Did I make a typo somewhere? Okay, well. Synapse says humanity was never meant to compete with cute anime girls. Once Elon Musk actually breeds an anime girl, we're all dead. We're all going to die. There will be no more births. Let's see. Billy Witch Doctor 99 says this judge needs to get against the wall in Minecraft. Shinobu Tezuka says awoo for head custodies. Matthew Self says bought a bottle of Macallan 18 for our annual Friendmas party. It is always fun to see whiskey friends who don't embark on the expensive blends understand the taste of the more selective casks. Cheers, Scotch friend. Cheers to you, Matthew Self. Yes, it's amazing. I will say not all expensive whiskey is worth it, whatever worth it means, but it is exceptional. That's the trick. Arlanius says, Merry Christmas. Aurelianus, sorry, says, Merry late Christmas, Nick. Been busy with my own, but wanted to give you thanks for the years of excellent coverage. May your liquor never sour and your enemies never find fulfillment. Also, Lamau, imagine being Binger. Oh, guys. I think I addressed this the other day, but we have an EFAP coming. We have an EFAP coming, and it'll be the first EFAP ever where there is no possibility of anyone actually fapping. Because 2 titanic voices, and when I say titanic, I mean fat, are coming together to do a podcast. They're coming together to do a podcast. Gravity could not keep these giant celestial bodies apart. And now they have collided, and it will collapse in on itself in one neutron star of absolutely ear-rending nonsensory. Monica Rial and Jamie Markey are going to do a podcast to quote unquote set the record straight. Oh boy. Oh boy. We're going to cover that. When it comes out, we're going to cover that. All of you people saying who with a question mark, you are correct. You are correct. You are correct. But there will be ample context given at the time of the show. So just so you guys know, I am aware of that. It will be happening. Dapper Dave says, seen the Officer Tatum YouTube video of the police officer was so scared to shoot his gun because of liability, even after the criminal pointed his own gun. The criminal even has the balls to tell the officer to drop his gun. Damn. I have not seen that. I've not seen that. Matt Tim says there's no such word as minds when referring to something that belongs to a person. The only correct term is mind. Did I say minds? What are you talking about? I have a question, guys. Why is there a petition to fire Susan Wojcicki? I mean, I can think of several reasons, but why is it there? Wait, are you talking about when I was talking about Minds? Minds, the social media site, MINDS? You might have misunderstood. Minds is a social media Twitter alternative. That's the only time I can think of that I might have said it, but I don't remember everything I say on a show. I'm just wondering if there is a specific thing that caused it. That's all. I mean, I fire her all day, although then out with the old boss, in with the worst boss. I mean, the next boss is going to be as bad or worse than Susan. YouTube appears to be favoring pedos over content creators. Of course they are. Of course they are. That should surprise no one. I mean, the Young Turks are way up on the algorithm too. I didn't actually say it. In a Rut says, hey, Nick, I stubbed my toe. Can I get F's in chat and a toast from you? It kind of hurts. In a Rut, was it your big toe or your pinky toe? Because you don't stub other toes, right? You don't stub like a ring toe or whatever. Well, either way, to your toe. To your toe. Let's see if we can impromptu haiku. Smashed against a couch. Now dead in Elysium. My foot, Jack Murphy. There you go. Your foot is cucked because your toe is now in Elysium. There you go. There's your haiku for the day. Good luck. I fucking hate stubbing my toe. There was a semicolon between my foot and Jack Murphy, just so you know. Guy, I hate it. It's always my little toe, man. I always hit it on like a box or something or a piece of wood. I'm like, oh, God. And then, okay, we're good. Let's get, holy shit. I warned you guys that I am basically done no prep for this. Oh, fucking hell. Let's get this pulled up. All right, is this the okay. So we need a couple videos over here or a couple pages over here. Now I warn you, of course, we're about to be talking about someone, a horrible, absolutely terrible person. Let's see. News. Here we go. So I'm going to show you this too. Just so we can see. Oh, this will be good. Let's check this out. Holy shit, I didn't know this was coming. All right. So here's what Brett Blom looks like, okay? But look at the title. I did not notice this. I did not notice the title of this article that this picture is from. Why I support Brett Blum and you should too. Okay. So this is Brett Blum. Here we go. I want to point out the news. All right. So 5 days ago, the Department of Justice had a press release. 5 days ago. Let's see who else covered it. Local affiliate in Milwaukee for Fox News. The Wisconsin Law Journal, same one. Local affiliate for Fox in Milwaukee. WXOW.com. Here's the latest Wisconsin news from the AP. Milwaukee Journal Sentinel back in March. Milwaukee Journal Sentinel in August. Courthouse News Service in August. WBay. Notice what's missing. Where the fuck is CNN? Where's NBC? Where's ABC? Where's AP? Where's anybody? Where is anybody? Well, let's see what the charges are. So here we go. This is in the United States District Court. This is filed back in May 21st of 2021. On or about October 30th, 2020, in the Western District of Wisconsin, the defendant, Brett Blum, knowingly distributed a visual depiction using any means or facility of interstate and foreign commerce, and the production of such visual depiction involved the use of a minor engaging in sexually explicit conduct, and the depiction was of such conduct. Specifically, the defendant sent a file beginning with B7137C9F, an image of a minor engaged in sexually explicit conduct, to another user via Kick Messenger. Same thing here with a different file via Kick Messenger again. As a result, and upon conviction, the defendant, Brett Blum, shall forfeit to the United States' right, title, and interest in any and all visible depictions which contain images which are or appear to be child pornography, together with the storage media in which they are contained, and any and all property used or intended to be used to commit or to promote the commission of the aforementioned offense, including property specifically described as one gray Apple iPhone with yellow protective cover. Take his house, take his car, take everything he's ever owned. Fuck this guy. By the way, if you used a truck to shoot too many deer, they would take your deer. If you used your house to clean your poached deer, they would take your house. They didn't take this guy's house. So here we go. Here's the sentencing memorandum. Now, a lot of this case is sealed. Don't even... I couldn't tell you why it's sealed, because presumably the minors aren't actually named. I wouldn't think the minors would be named. I don't know how, because it's just random CP pictures, unless they're his kids, in which case, by the way, just execute him straight out. Now, his kids are adopted. Oh, do you want to know? I know the answer, by the way. I know the answer why you haven't seen this on the news. Sorry, I was misleading the chat. I asked it rhetorically why you haven't heard it. You're probably like, oh, because they like pedos or whatever. No. Brett Blum is gay. Brett Blum and his husband have adopted kids. I think they were foster parents. Brett Blum was a child court judge in the state of Wisconsin. He had insane access to children. He had insane access to images of abused children. But he's gay, a gay married man. But he's not just gay married. You don't understand, because like lots of gay married men are around, they don't like have sex with children or anything like that. That would be crazy, right? Like you can't paint all gay married men. I'm not doing that. But here we go. Here we go. We gotta find out. Let's see. Do you guys remember this story? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. This is amazing. This is amazing. Do you guys remember the drag queen librarian story where they story time for the kids? Remember this? The president of Drag Queen Story Hour was arrested in charge of child pornography. Do you know why it says this? Do you know why this is a story? Because yes, they fucking were. Okay? Yes, they were. Let's read the fact check that we have here. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? This is why the media is not reporting it. So, if you don't know, Drag Queen Story Hour, where some drag queen uncrossed his legs like fucking Sharon Stone, had his dong flop down for all the kids to see before crossing it again or whatever. This just absolutely ridiculous premise that drag queens should be reading stories to children at a public library, which just shouldn't happen. It's just not a place. Children do not need to be exposed to drag queens. Look, if you want to go be a drag queen, go be a fucking drag queen. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about it at all. But children do not need that in their lives. They just don't. They just don't. Their brains aren't prepared to tackle the complex issues that are involved in it. We don't let kids drink, so you can't let them look at drag queens, because if they did, they'd want to start drinking. You can't do that. It's not humane. All right? But anyway, of course, Brett Blom is the president, or was for a time the president of the Cream City Foundation. If you don't know what the Cream City Foundation is, all you need to know is that they were the ones who made Drag Queen Story Hour happen. So when this fact check says the president of Drag Queen Story Hour was arrested on charge with child pornography, no, they were not. Let's look at how they fucking qualify it. The Cream City, by the way, is Milwaukee. That's not actually, that's not a dirty thing. It's just Milwaukee because of the cheese. But here we go. If your time is short, Drag Queen Story Hour is a large organization with over 40 chapters in the U.S. and additional chapters in Europe, Australia, Mexico, and Japan. That should bother everybody. Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Brett Blom was recently charged for possession of child pornography. He formerly headed a nonprofit called Cream City Foundation. Cream City Foundation was a fiscal sponsor of the Milwaukee chapter of Drag Queen Story Hour, but it played no role in the chapter's operations. Blom never held any position within Drag Queen Story Hour Milwaukee, much less served as the president of the national umbrella organization. This is how you selectively choose a headline to attack in a fact check. But the fact check is going after a straw man, basically, because no one was saying that the Drag Queen Story Hour president was arrested. The Cream City Foundation, who was a fiscal sponsor, who allowed it to happen, who pushed it into the libraries, with a judge at the head, was arrested for child pornography. Because of course they were. Of course they were. But if you want to know why, If you want to know why you haven't heard this story, there you go. Because Brett Blum is a protected category in multiple ways. A community leader, a child court judge, president of an LGBT advocacy organization that brought drag queens directly into the ample hearts of your children in a public library. You cannot have that guy be a pedophile because that would be a disaster. Just imagine if that guy was a giant fucking pedophile who had naked pictures of kids and was distributing them on the internet. Just imagine the damage that would do to the narrative. Holy hell. I need to invite Good Logic on so you can tell me about the agendas again. So here we go. Let's look at the sentencing memorandum because this case is sealed. I want to point that out. The documents in this case are largely sealed. You can't see the criminal complaint itself. You can't see the discovery stuff. You can't see anything. It's all locked up. No idea why. Doesn't make any sense why it would be sealed. But it is. So here you go. We're going to read the sentencing memorandum because it's the best narrative that we can have here. United States of America by its attorneys, Timothy O'Shea, acting U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Wisconsin, and Chadwick M. Elgersma, Assistant U.S. Attorney, hereby submits this memorandum to aid the court in sentencing. Defendant's advisory guideline calculation. The advisory guidelines computation set forth in the revised pre-sentence investigation report shows a total offense level of 34 in criminal history category of I. This results in an advisory guideline imprisonment range of 151 to 188 months. Under 18 U.S.C. section 2252A2 and B2, the offense conviction carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years in prison. Government sentencing recommendation. We recommend within the guideline. Within the guideline, okay? That's what they said. Followed by a 20-year period of supervised release. It is reasonable and no greater than necessary to hold the defendant accountable for his conduct. All right. Nature of, there are other things I could think of doing, but he's getting more than 5 years. That's the mandatory minimum. I think he gets 9 years. Nature of the charge, conduct, and characteristics of the defendant. Let's take a peek at this. Here's the story. In early 2021, the Wisconsin Department of Justice Division of Criminal Investigation, let's make this a little bit bigger, received a tip that between October and November 2020, someone with the username DomMasterBB, if Dom Master BB. BB is short for baby, by the way, if you don't know. Get on the fucking wall. Get on the wall. I'm a consummate cartography consumer. I want all maps on the wall all the time. Get up there. Get up there. I'll pin you in place. No problem. You can get pinned to the wall and stay there forever. Distributed 27 files of child pornography via Kick Messenger. Based on this complaint, DCI agents obtained a search warrant for Dom Master BB's Kick account and ultimately received a wealth of information. Most notably, agents learned that the defendant's personal information, including his Google email address, was linked to Dom Master BB's Kick user profile. In addition, records from Google revealed that the defendant used his true name and date of birth when he set up his personal email account. Faced with overwhelming evidence, agents concluded that Dom Master BB was in fact Milwaukee County Children's Court Judge Brett Blum. The investigation did not stop there. Agents also reviewed log files they received from Kik. These log files captured transactional data each time Don Master PB distributed the child pornography, including the IP address. Subscriber information associated with all of the IP addresses showed the defendant brazenly distributed child pornography from his house in Cottage Grove, his friend's house in the Milwaukee area, and the Milwaukee County Children's Court Center, undoubtedly from the sanctity of his chambers. So he couldn't get away. He's so into the child pornography that he was distributing it at home, at work, and at his friend's house. The pictures and videos distributed by the defendant are heart-wrenching to describe. They depict naked, prepubescent children posing in lewd and lascivious ways, adults committing sexual acts on minors, and underage children performing sexual acts on adults. The most disturbing video sent by the defendant involved the forcible rape of a toddler. Why isn't he deceased? This is the fucking problem with pedophiles and why the map supporters fuck you forever. Get out. No. Never abide. Never. You can never let this be normalized. You cannot let this enter the mainstream as some sort of, well, they're born with it. No. Roll up the biggest goddamn newspaper you can find and knock them into the fucking sun with it. No. No. It goes on. It is unfathomable to believe that the defendant not only received sexual gratification from such abhorrent material, but he felt the need to share it with others. Of course he does. He's a fucking disgusting pile of garbage who deserves to be put in a human-sized garbage disposal and let it run until it doesn't rattle. The defendant truly lived a double life. On one hand, he was an officer of the court who had a legal and ethical obligation to promote justice. He represented himself as someone who fought for the most marginalized in our community. Well, MAPS may be the most marginalized, and if they aren't, they should be. On the other hand, he was a purveyor of child pornography. He viewed and distributed child sexual abuse material to satisfy his own twisted and selfish desires. Given the nature of the charged conduct, coupled with the defendant's specific characteristics, justice demands that he receives a term of imprisonment between 151 and 188 months. Specific deterrence. The government acknowledges that the defendant has no criminal history. However, this changed when he sent child pornography to other people on the internet. Defendant unquestionably knew his actions were illegal. He is highly educated, passed the bar exam, and is licensed to practice law in 2 states. He also worked as an attorney for the city of Madison and the Wisconsin Public Defender's Office before being elected as a judge in Milwaukee County. Despite his extensive education and in-depth knowledge of the law, the threat of incarceration did not stop the defendant from committing his crimes. Therefore, a significant term of imprisonment is now needed to deter the defendant from committing any future crimes. Finally, a sentence of the advisory guideline range is necessary to protect the community. When executing a search warrant at the defendant's residence, agents found electronic devices that contained numerous text messages between the defendant and other individuals. Many of these texts centered on the defendant's sexual interest in children. I wish I could show you Exhibit A. The defendant told someone that he impersonated a teenager so he could chat with a 14-year-old child. He openly expressed his attraction to children, some as young as 12 years of age. Even as far back as 2016, the defendant talked about engaging in sexual intercourse with teenage boys. In addition to discussing his sexual desires, the defendant brainstormed about ways he could get access to teenage children. For example, on one occasion, the defendant contemplated becoming a middle school coach. The person talking the defendant warned him that the idea was pretty risky. Who is he talking to? And why aren't they also being investigated? I can't show it. It's sealed. Somehow this judge got more deference than anybody else on the planet. Let's see. Yeah, when I go to pull up the exhibit, it is sealed. Psychological report sealed. Oh, here we go. What's this? Got some letters. Might have to take a look at these letters. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, these letters make me want to die. Maybe we'll pull those up in a minute. Depends. Do you guys have enough liquor in your house? I don't know if I do. I thought these would be victim impact statements. Wow. Yeah, most of this stuff is actually sealed, so we can't actually see it, which is amazing. Which is amazing. Why would you seal any of this shit? It's probably part of the plea agreement. Mr. Schwaggins, no, my Streamlabs is not working. I'm not using it. I took it out of the description. I have to figure out how to actually just close it down. I'm not using it anymore. All right, here we go. Oh, by the way, if you guys remember the risque commentary of Good Logic on the show, and some ensuing discussions about how maps belong on the wall, I do actually have a video of that I can't put it up on YouTube, but it's going to go up on Locals. I will have a YouTube trailer video of it tomorrow. That'll go up tomorrow. So it's just a little preview, and then the actual video will go up on Locals, the full thing. So it's there if you want that sweet ranting about maps. That'll be up on Locals. Okay, here we go. In addition to discussing his sexual desire, pretty risky. The defendant's actions between October and November 2020 were not an anomaly. By his own admission, in the form of text messages, the defendant wanted to have sex with minors for years. He targeted children online, talked with people who had the same desires, and considered different ways to gain access to potential victims. The defendant is unequivocally a danger to children, and a significant term of imprisonment is necessary to protect the community. Remember this when we read the letters. For all the aforementioned reasons, government recommends a term of imprisonment. 151 to 188 months. What's that in real people numbers? The maximum of 15 and 2/3 years. Minimum of 12 years and 12.6 years, basically. So, and here's the sentencing document. All right. This is the redacted version. They redacted his fucking birth certificate and his mailing address. Why? No other defendants get this. No other defendants actually get this privilege. Other defendants, birthdays, mailing addresses. They're like, wait, you want to fuck kids? Nope. We'll put it all out online. Fuck you. Wait, what? Why does he get this redacted? Why is this guy entitled to this privilege? Go look up just about any criminal case of an adult and you're going to find their name, their address, and their date of birth. Of course you are. All right. Imprisonment. As to counts 1 and 2 of the indictment, it is adjudged the defendant is committed to the custody of Bureau of Prisons for a term of 108 months on each count to be served concurrently. So he gets less. He gets less. 9 years. Why? Why on earth give him less? No, the minimum was 5 years. It's not less than the minimum. It's less than the recommended. But why? Why give him less? This is federal court. The guidelines say the guidelines suggest 151 months. He gets less. Amazing. Amazing. I recommend that the defendant receive a sexual offender evaluation and subsequent treatment. I hope you got Mike Pence in there to give him the electric shock. A substance abuse evaluation and appropriate treatment, including RDAP, and the defendant be afforded pre-release placement in a residential reentry center with work release privileges. Defendant is in primary federal custody. Plea agreement indicates the Attorney General's Office of the State of Wisconsin has agreed to drop the pending charges with the state of Wisconsin as a provision of the plea agreement, as that conduct is related to this federal case. U.S. probation offices to notify local law enforcement. Supervised release 20 years afterwards. Okay, don't do other things. Supervision, blah, blah, blah. Special conditions of release. Nothing important there. Oh, he can't possess more child porn. Thank God they put that in an order. Stopped him before. He has to comply with the requirements of sex offender registry. Can't be around kids without the prior approval of the probation officer. Okay, there you go. Do not use alcohol to excess. What the hell does that have to do with anything? You missed the boat. Put him in fucking prison for longer. Ugh. He's got some restitution to pay. $5,200 in restitution. So, all right, let's take a look at this. These are the letters, by the way. Let's see what people say about this. Judge Peterson, my name is Ann Greener. I was Brett Blom's court clerk for 7 months. From August 2020 to March 2021. She was there. This guy was sending videos of toddlers getting raped from his office while she was there. At the Juvenile Justice Center in Milwaukee County. As we developed a working relationship during that time, I saw nothing less than professionalism from him. He treated all persons, whether they were parties in a court hearing or staff in the courthouse, with compassion and dignity. I know I didn't know him for a very long time, but even in that brief time, I saw a very good and decent human being. He spoke of his husband, children, and family members daily, sharing stories and anecdotes from normal family life. In addition to Mr. Blom's work in the courts, he has volunteered his time to make his community a better place. Mr. Blom was involved in community organizations that supported worthwhile causes. Cream City Foundation. I know there's a mandatory 5-year sentence, and I also know you have the discretion to go much higher than the 5 years, which I beg you not to do. If I could have done anything to help him prevent this from happening, I certainly would have. I mean, were you going to deliver lead pills, lady? What were you going to do? I can only imagine how much he misses his family every day. I miss him as well. Reminder, by the way, Kim Potter is likely going to get 7 years in prison. He's getting 9. It's not very different. Kim Potter might actually get 14 plus years in prison. There's a distinct possibility based on the aggravating factors that she gets more, just so we're clear on that. I miss him as well. My heart goes out to him as the days, weeks, and even months have gone by, and he is absent from holidays, birthdays, and other special occasions. Please, Judge Peterson, show Mr. Blom mercy in his sentencing, as he has been a good person, doing good things throughout his life. I'm not sure whether a longer sentence is necessary or beneficial, as Mr. Blom will need to address the things that led him to this place. He'll need to address them. Yeah, absolutely. In closing, I would just like to say that after all this took place back in March, I truly felt like I lost a friend. Despite the current case, I still believe Mr. Blom to be an honorable individual, a valuable member to my community, and a good human being. Next. Your Honor, signed Amy Blom. This must be his mom. Younger sister. I'm writing to share my testimony on the character of Brett Blom. My name is Amy, and I am the younger sister. I'm not going to read Amy's because, look, family a lot of times is going to stick by family. I get it. I'm more interested in the people who are not family, right? Not blood. I'm going to read the brother-in-law. Here's the brother-in-law. I'm Brett Blom's brother-in-law. Although I've only known Brett for a few years, it's very clear that he's a smart and caring individual. He's always treated me with love and respect. Coming into the family, Brett went out of his way to make me feel welcome during family holidays and trips. He's always shown me an unwavering amount of support, whether it was related to my career and my role as a new dad this year. Brett is a good person with a great heart who committed a terrible crime. Since March, my wife and I have spoken to Brett weekly. I've witnessed his efforts to come to terms with his actions, and I hear the remorse in his voice. He's eager to make things right. He is always trying to be helpful, even while in jail. For example, he started teaching yoga and breathing sessions to the other inmates. That's great. I know you must sentence him to at least 5 years and sincerely hope this is all you choose for him. I know he's eager to serve his time and reclaim his life with his family. My name is Katie Howard. I'm writing you in regards to Brett Blom's upcoming sentencing. I met Brett 3.5 years ago when I started dating his brother, Bryce. And this time, Brett and the rest of the Blom family have welcomed me and treated me as one of their own. While I've not known Brett for as long as others, I do know how important family is to him and how much his family needs him. Since I have known him, Brett has always treated those around him with kindness and respect. Well, except for the kids that he wanted to fuck. He is always quick to lend a hand to someone in need and offer help in any way he can. There's never been a moment where I've questioned his character. I fully understand that Brett is being sentenced for a very serious crime, one that has caused shock and a great deal of hurt for all involved, and that he must go to prison for a minimum of 5 years. I also understand that this sentence can be much longer. I'm asking you to please allow Brett the chance to show society and those close to him that he is not the person, that this is not the person he is, by giving him the minimum sentence. Brett has done so much good in his life, and I believe that he is still a good person. He's not the one that he is. He's not the human he is. I've known Brett Blum for almost 9 years since I became pastor at Covenant Presbyterian Church in 2013, where Brett was already a member. Since then, I've had dinner at their home, officiated at the blessing of their marriage, served with him on committees, ordained him as an elder. He's an elder in the fucking church. He's an elder in the church. Ah! Went to a 3-day conference in Kansas City, baptized their children, and had several video visits since his arrest. Like other people here at the church, I was deeply saddened by the news of his crime. He and I have discussed it, and he seems genuinely sorry. I shared a book on getting free of pornography and finding a new direction in life. Problem fucking solved. It's not the pornography that's a problem, Reverend. It's that he wants to fuck children. That's the problem. It's which we have discussed. He and I have discussed how he can move forward in a positive way once he's out of jail. I understand that he must be sentenced for his crime, but I hope you can show leniency, strong desire to change, and start life anew. My name is Mallory Blum, and I'm his sister-in-law. I've known Brett for 12 years now. Been very close since the day we met. He always made me feel very comfortable and welcome when we had family gatherings. I've seen how hard Brett has worked by attending his graduation ceremony from Mizzou and also seeing how he's moved up over the years with each new job and position he worked so hard to get. When I see Brett with his children, Sophia and Caleb, you can just see the love he has for those two. I understand Brett will be sentenced for a serious crime, but I just ask to please show some mercy and possible leniency. He's done so many good things in his life, and we just want him home to be back with his family. So this is his mom. Like I said, I'm not doing the blood relative ones. Who's this? Jerry Blum. That's his father. I'm not going to read the blood relative ones. I'm really not. Again, I will read his husband's though, and then we'll wrap up this topic. I'm writing to you today to share my support for Brett Blum. My name is Chris Verhage, and I am Brett's husband. We've been together for over a decade, and we're married in 2013. We have 2 adopted kids, Caleb and Sophia, and are active members of our community, both here in Madison and Milwaukee. It's hard to write this letter to you. How do you encapsulate everything you know about someone you love in a page? So I will try to highlight what you should know about Brett. What did you know about Brett? That's the question, Chris. What did you know about Brett? Did you know he was a danger to your children? Did you know that? He is a good man, loving father, and caring husband. The activity he was engaged in is not representative of the man I know and comes from a dark moment in his life. It's a moment that went back years, man. Years. He has taken responsibility for his actions and is deeply sorry for the impact this has had on me and the kids. I know if he could go back, he would change his behavior and put his family above all else. Would he? Would he be able to do that? Brett continues to be a loving and caring father despite being detained. Brett has always had a strong bond with the kids since we started fostering them. He was often the one to get on the floor and play Legos with our son, braid our daughter's hair and paint her nails, or take them outside for a bike ride. He continues to connect with the kids almost every night, often reading them bedtime stories over video calls. He's also sending letters and coloring pictures for them almost every week. Brett is committed to being the best father he can be given the circumstances. The kids still struggle with his absence and to understand why their dad can't come home. But Brett continues to be reassuring and helping them navigate their difficult feelings. I mean, I don't even know what you do here. You can't tell them, right? Like, you can't tell the kids what he was doing. They're probably too young to understand. More than anything, Brett wants our kids to be okay. We've talked several times about how he took for granted the family that he has and wants to make sure he never does that again. Oddly, this experience has brought Brett closer to me and the kids in many ways. He's always been a caring and loving partner. Brett and I share many values and what attracted me the most to him was his drive and ambition. He was motivated to advance his career and find success for his family. We worked well together as a team, often prioritizing his career over mine while still finding ways to support me. We both wanted to have kids and create a family together, and we thought foster care was the best route to achieve that goal. Since then, we have navigated the challenges of being a parent together and as a unified team. As gay male parents, we had very few role models to learn from and often had to blaze our own path. Brett has always been a source of strength for me and has helped me be a better father and partner. I want to acknowledge that we have an open relationship. Well, of course you do. To my gays out there, denounce this fucking degeneracy. Look, I don't care where you want to put your pee-pee. I really don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm long past giving a shit about that. The open relationship thing has got to stop. It has got to stop. Good. I want to acknowledge that we have an open relationship, and while this may seem strange to some, it works for us. I share this so you know I was aware of and supportive of Brett having additional relationships with other consenting adults, and it wasn't devious indiscretion on his part. The last piece I want to share is some context of what happened in the fall of 2020. I'm sure Brett will share what was going on in his mind at the time, but I want you to know what I observed. Throughout COVID, Brett was suffering from significant depression. I encouraged him many times to find the help that he needed. He was drinking almost every day, living apart from his family most of the week, and in a new job that put significant strain on his mental health. I saw the impact on him and worried about him many times. His new job as child court judge in the Juvenile Justice Center. Is that what you're talking about? Where he had access to kids constantly? Brett has never thought he was good enough. And while he was right on something at least, and while this can be a great motivator, it can also cause significant doubt and strain on one's health. I saw how starting in his new role just amplified the doubt that he wasn't good enough. I share this mainly to show how all these factors layered on top of a pandemic, isolated from friends and family, banded together, created a pretty dark place for Brett. And while many of us tried to help him in that dark place, no one seemed to be able to break through. I would ask and beg you for as much leniency as you are allowed in this case. As a family, we are ready to have Brett back home as soon as possible. Brett's contributions as a father and a partner are incalculable. While I understand it is important for Brett to be punished for his crime to deter others, I hope and pray that you give him only the bare minimum needed in your considered view, as there is nothing productive or therapeutic nor beneficial to society if he is held in prison one day longer than is minimally necessary on your seasoned view. He poses no danger to anyone if he resides under supervision and treatment when returned to the community. As you may know, Brett has already started to experience the ramifications of his actions, losing most of our friends, not being physically there to help as a parent, losing his career and reputation, and enduring continued public shame in the media. Not enough! More shame! More! Shame all pedophiles. Shame them all. Shame child pornography consumers. Shame. There's not enough shame. I would bring buckets, wheelbarrows, dumpsters, dump trucks full of shame if I could and pour them on every one of them. There is not enough shame in the world. If they were shamed from the fucking start, maybe they wouldn't want to have sex with children. Shame them endlessly until they stop. We all want to move forward and figure out how to rebuild our lives so our kids can find the success they deserve. Finally, I have one thing to ask as you consider Brett's sentence. Please help Brett get access to any programs for inmates struggling with alcohol and mental health. Brett has a lot to work through. Both pose major challenges to Brett. I know he's ready to start now and work hard to be a better person. Truly appreciate you taking the time to read this and know that Caleb, Sophia, and I love Brett deeply and just want him to be okay. And then here's the final one. Oh, this is his lawyer just saying, here's all the letters that you got. Okay, never mind. Absolutely insane. 9 years is not enough. Nine years is not enough. You get 9 years for meth charges. Fuck off with that. Wow. Well, anyway, that's the main story I had for you tonight. The resolution of Brett Blum. Scorpion 142 says, serious question. Mental or physical brain trauma turns someone into a prospective kid diddler. Does that factor into some of the discussion? Not if they offend. Not if they distribute child pornography or offend on a child. No, it doesn't factor into the discussion. It doesn't. The child pornography, statutory rape, these crimes are strict liability crimes for a reason. Because there is no amount of sorry. There is no amount of I didn't mean to that we can ever know about this person, right? How do you like you buy a hard drive on eBay, you open it up, you're like, "Oh my God, what the hell is this?" You delete everything. Okay. FBI finds some trace of a file. You're like, "Look, I deleted that bullshit immediately. I bought this thing on eBay. Here's the receipts." Whatever. That's one thing. Sitting there on your phone in your judge's chamber, sitting there on your phone at your friend's house, sending pornography of children, of toddlers getting raped via Kick Messenger, of a toddler, 2 to 4 years old. By an adult sending that. There's no amount of, like, look, I didn't mean to send that. I didn't know what that was. If you start letting that bullshit happen, right? You can never know. You can never know what's inside someone's head. It's such a solitary sort of crime. I mean, of course, there's going to be some messages back and forth where they're trading the thing. Well, it was just blah, blah, blah. I was sending a bunch of Kim Kardashian nudes and that one just slipped in there or whatever. There's always going to be some sort of excuse. They're strict liability crimes because the damage that they do to children is incalculably high. It's incalculably high. And we just don't want it. We don't want it as a society because all children are at risk from these people. Because there's a lot of ways children do not have the faculties to fight back. They don't have the physical ability to fight back. They are the most vulnerable. They're at the maximum level of protection for this reason. So no, like if a person has some sort of brain injury that makes them a potential offender, they need to be put into care. Period. They need to be put into care. Care and supervision. We can't have this shit. If he had access to a child, just put this out there. We don't know if he ever harmed his own kids. But from his messages going back years, if he had access to an underage boy he was sexually attracted to, he would have offended. That's the gist of what he was saying. You have to wonder, right? Years ago, he said, oh, maybe if I become a middle school coach or whatever. Maybe if I become a foster parent and get a middle school placement. That's the thing. That's the problem. He took on multiple positions of trust that involve children. And yes, the husband should also be investigated significantly. Yeah. All right. Let's do super chats and we'll wind down. I know this topic was a little dark and heavy. Whew. Andrew War Snowboard says, thoughts on Karl Malone settling with the family of a 13-year-old that he had relations with when he was 20. Why doesn't YouTube protect pineapple pizza instead of cheese pizza? I had no idea about Karl Malone settling on that. Put him on the fucking wall too. Maybe that's why Jimmy Kimmel impersonated him. Uncivil Law says, controversial hot take. I oppose the concept of strict liability crimes. I think mens rea should always be a component of a crime. The power of the state is too concerning for less, in my opinion. Uncivil Law, I agree with you. I don't think we have an intent problem with possession of child pornography in 99.999% of the cases. I really don't. Because the statute actually has built-in protections for people who come across it accidentally. You delete it immediately or you turn it over to the authorities. One of those two things. I would never recommend turning it over to the authorities. I would only recommend deleting it immediately as effectively as possible. If you happen across, like I said, the eBay hard drive thing, magnet it, destroy the hard drive, bury it in a fucking swamp, never talk to anybody about it again. Don't buy hard drives from eBay. Oh my God, please never ever do that. Buy a new hard drive. Storage is cheap as shit. There's no way you're getting that good of a deal on an eBay hard drive that you would ever have this issue. But just in case, just never buy a used hard drive ever, ever, ever. If someone wants to give you an old computer, rip out the hard drive, put something new. If it's a laptop, format the shit out of it. Get rid of everything you could possibly have. Seriously, do everything you possibly can to show that you didn't want anything from that computer. But that being said, the overwhelming majority of these child sex crimes, child pornography crimes or whatever, they're technically strict liability. The defenses in the statute are for the only reasonable things. I came across this by pure accident. I got rid of it immediately. I was horrified. That's it. That's enough. We don't really need any more help beyond that, in my opinion. Because it's so easy. It's easy to say, oh, I didn't know I had it, right? There are defenses. Alex Jones got accused of possession of child pornography because someone emailed it to him and they were able to show the emails were never opened, right? He didn't ask for it. It was sent to him. He turned it over. He said, this is not me. This email came in. I had no idea what was on it, right? If they're not going to prosecute Alex Jones, I think we have some bar on strict liability. But I agree with you, Kurt. I don't think it's that controversial to say strict liability. You always need the criminal intent. You always need the criminal intent aspect of it. But you don't necessarily need to intend to put... I didn't know this person was 12. Okay, fuck off, you weirdo. That's what I'm saying. Sword and Scale says, Nick, I want to have you on my show this year. Looking for a case you've covered or will cover. Also, buy hard drives from eBay because sometimes they may have Bitcoin on them. Stop it. No, I'm trying to protect people here, Sword and Scale. I'm trying to protect them from child porn. No. But the Bitcoin thing is a good point. That's a good point. Oh my gosh. Yeah, man, hit me up. Hit me up. I would be very interested. Oh, hey, Mike, Ray Andracchio, RAE space ANDRACCHIO, a wild case, murder ruled potential murder ruled suicide, weird questions about the suicide, a mom who's been on a crusade to prove the murder of her son for years. That's one I've talked about. Might be interesting. Might be right up your alley. Ray Andracchio. If you need any, if you need me to send that to you, let me know and get you the info. It's got a lot of drama around it also. I think other true crime publications have covered it. And there's, in fact, one of them was a lady named Critical K, and she's being sued over the coverage. So not the coverage, but statements made by the person who covered it. Or no, by her. Statements made by her. Wendell 2020 says, "Hi, Nick. It's been a while. My husband got arrested a few hours ago. He's falsely accused of sexual assault. I don't know what else to do. I feel so alone. Please pray that my baby can come home soon." Damn. Wendell 2020. Holy shit. I will pray for the safe return of your husband. Hopefully they get that sorted out as soon as possible. That's got to be terrifying. Josh Anderson says, "Wasn't planning on drinking tonight, but damn, I'll raise a Glencairn of Johnny Walker Blue to you, Nick, for covering the tough cases." Thank you, sir. Thank you. Spigot says, "I heard that hell needs a shipment of maps." Dogsplain says, "Turn him into a paraplegic, tie him down to a raft, put a nice strong anchor on it so it doesn't wash up on any shore, and let him die of exposure." Sprite Cola says, "I used to think the whole electrocution thing was silly. I'm starting to come around to it." Meth Bear says he's still subject to civil commitment once his sentence is up per the Adam Walsh Act of Kansas v. Hendricks. He may rot in confinement for life regardless. May. Blaze Storm says he's definitely not sorry. He's only sorry he got caught. People keep defending these monsters who deserve the wall. Billy Witch Doctor says, "Yep, right up against the wall, please." Also says, "Is this dude seriously blaming the coup for this shit?" Kind of looks like it. Steve C says, "This got me so wound up, I got auto-moderated." Sorry, buddy. Translator says, "Ran away to DeKalb and Gwinnett County Police and the Methodist Church. There was up to 6 of us. Daily and nightly terror. Adopto dad was also a church man. How do you make them believe? Or is it a pedo ring?" I don't know. It could be. I mean, he clearly had contacts that I hope they're looking. Iva. Oh, yes. It's Christian Andracchio. Ray, RAE, is his mother. Sorry, Iva. That's who I know because she's suing Critical K. So that's why I say Ray. One Evil Chef says, "Question: if Australia doesn't exist, why is it true that Europeans are just Australians that haven't gotten through the skill tree yet?" Oh man, I don't have a counter for it. I don't. Tell you what, guys, I have to go to the bathroom really bad. I'll be right back, and then we'll finish up the show. And we've got to read through the rest of the chats. We'll finish up the show. Give me just a minute. Gunt cat. Okay. We're back. Woo! I don't have the whiskey peeing lawyer song on StreamYard. I gotta get it set up. I'll have to have the editor, Ryan the editor, whip up a video with a big screen that says, "Don't leave, this isn't the end." Okay. So I had bad stream discipline today. I didn't go to the bathroom right before starting. It's my fault. The bottle crash came through. That's great. Comfy Esther says, no need to read this message. Just resending since my bank flagged the last super chat as suspicious. Well, I'm going to read it. Samuel Williams, the founding father, says, about the video of Elio, Polk County, Florida, has had over 1,000 applications, 100 just from NYPD. The sheriff says he wishes he could hire them all. This Polk County. Dragon Slayer says, Joeish in the house. Here from Good Logic. Happy New Year's. Jonathan Duger says, so racket 6 in 9 months? No. We are done. Baku Goat says, quiet boomer. Futurama is on. Not applicable says, try playing solitaire on your phone. Helped me recently. Vacuum Samago says, back in my day, you'd give the old darky a knee, an uppercut, and 1-2 nightstick combo. Such lightweights these lawmen are in 2021. Clumsy Clairvoyant says, show Earl the Elmo gif with flames in the background. Matt from Tinder says, looking forward to Thursday. Phoenix Lord says, invite Jim on the Murphy stream. He's been absolutely savage since his Christmas stream, and I'd love to see him and Drex meet over this cuckery. I'll invite him, but it'd be up to Jim. I haven't had him on in a long time because I've been respecting his cancer AIDS or whatever. But if he wants to come on, he'd be welcome to. I just didn't want to. I've never wanted to encroach on Jim's space. Mandy Karavich says, what did we tell you about using up all the toilet paper, Nick? You need to replace the roll. Don't just leave it on there. How rude. Mario Carter says, Nick plays furry hide and seek. Jack plays cuck goose. Giovanni Serralo says, talk about trial lawyers versus big law lawyers. Explain the pay differential. You're libertarian. Does the money not talk? Well, I mean, some big law lawyers are trial lawyers. I don't know what you want me to talk about. So big law firms have hundreds of attorneys. Typically, the trial work is done by a small group of those attorneys, and the rest of them end up being research attorneys or some other, assisting attorneys in general. And they get paid typically a salary, right? They get paid a lot in that respect. If you work for a big law firm, depending on the size of the firm and the type of position that you have in your education, all that stuff. Trial attorneys have the potential to make a lot more on their own than they do in a big law firm, but they also don't have the security and stability of it. I don't know what you want me to say about it, though. Not applicable says, lol, Jack, what are you doing? Ask Nick that. Your mental illness says, remember, Chup is running again in 2022. If you live in Tarrant County, find someone to run against him and vote him out. Phil Booty says, Nick, won't somebody please think of the mutuals? Not applicable says, Discord is a ball fist anyways. Go Fediverse or something. Ball punch, maybe? Moroatia says, I can't pronounce the fucking Irish phrase, slante maith or whatever. You guys know it. You can make fun of me. I can't pronounce it. Avahine says, I can't get Hill Rock in Texas. I'm being persecuted. Drunk Shovel says, gravity is real bigots. Birds, though. Sword and Scale. Hey, what's up, Literature Devil? How you doing, man? Sword and Scale says, has that cuck Rittenhouse paid you for your well-earned commission yet? Or is he signing deals for a miniseries on HBO? He has not paid me. We didn't have an arrangement. The most frustrating thing is I reached out to his team for an interview and have been ghosted on that. I have no idea if, Kyle or his team's decision. No idea. Sorry. Nobody says, what do you do with your whiskey what do you do with your whiskey empties? Seems a shame to throw them out. If they're a unique bottle, I keep them. I have tons and tons and tons of bottle. And by unique, I don't mean like a special bottle. I just mean if I don't keep duplicates. I keep one copy of every bottle, and I have tons of them. Some of them are up on the shelf. Some are still lining lower shelves and need to be put up. But yeah. Ben Samuel says, was born in Australia, can confirm it's not real. See? That jeweler guy says, oh, whoa. Not applicable says, Nick now watches VTubers on YouTube. Freaking amazing. I do not. Eric Winberg says, you are not to Kyle's benefit. He owes you, but he's had a bad year. He doesn't owe me shit. Doesn't owe me anything. But yeah, he's lining up a bunch of other stuff. I don't know what for. Curious. First, last. What about broken bottles? Do you keep those? Oh. Funny you should ask, bigot. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Drunk Shovel says, I didn't know what VTubers were. This confirms that women were a mistake. Phoenix Lord Asterman says, I'm hiring Greer to sue you for making me watch that. Eldritch Blast says, pick one. VTubers go extinct or Australia becomes real. Well, I don't want Australia to become real. Oh, so that means the VTubers have to stay alive? I don't understand how that works. Joel Reese says, we need to start Drex's jihad on Sims. Not applicable says, now watch Bungo Taiga. No. Mario Carter says, over under on Judge Brett being over under Binger. Smokin' says, I can't give you $100, but I wish I could. You and those you invite give great insight, and in 2021 it's needed. Appreciate you and what you do sincerely. Hey, thank you, Smokin'. You don't have to give me any money, but I appreciate every donation. I really do. Kyle Fuchs says, a stolen car in Minnesota was stopped by police. The driver drove in reverse and injured the officers, hitting the police car, then drove away. Really ironic how that happened. Yep. Selrin says, I watched Bone Tomahawk, The Fall, and Cry Macho after y'all's recommendation. All three well worth it. I found them all on the high seas of the internet. I have not seen Cry Macho. Razor 390 says, my wife and I's best friend couple just welcomed a baby boy into the world. He is healthy. Don't know where else to toast, but here, since I know you will. I will. 390. Especially since we're about to watch Roadhouse. And when you watch Roadhouse, if you're a man, you will want to have children. And if you're a woman, you may actually become pregnant while watching it because it's that much manly. I will toast a child, an innocent child brought into this world. 390. I don't know who your friends are, but to their children, to their prosper, to the children's benefit, education, experience, and hopefully progression into productive and meaningful members of society who are, I guess, loved by their parents and peers. Cheers, man. Not applicable says, so interesting question. So if a private citizen carries both, do they theoretically get to shoot whoever they want and claim it was an accident? Yes. Happy says, Tyrion Lannister had 3 fair trials, but Kim didn't. Let's see. Michael says, I like you, Nikki. Potter made me very sad. Thanks for making me aware. Robert Wilson says, the damage done by lawyers like you is done, Nick. You can't talk your way out of this. You were a pawn for their game, Nick, and all you saw was the color green. Wait, what? I don't know what that means. A pawn for whose game? Where am I a pawn? And can I take the queen? If you know what I'm saying. McGuffindo says, what would your advice be to any young man growing up without a father? I'm a father myself now, but I'm always curious how people answer this question. I would say find one. Find one. There are men out there who would be your father. Not in the day-to-day or whatever, but you find one. You look for a man that you respect. You look for someone doing something productive. You look for someone who's out there working, who barely has time for you, right? Because your dad probably barely has time for you. You go find someone who will show you how to barely have time for kids, but make it work anyway, because you have to. Because that's the way 99% of fathers who stick around are. There's someone who's working, there's someone who's bearing the weight of a family, the weight of a community, the weight of whoever on their shoulders. And yet they still find time for their children. So find someone who's barely got time for you, mentor under them, learn their trade, learn their craft, or just learn how they interact with people. And there's a million guys out there. And if they ever try to touch you inappropriately, shoot them. That's what I got. Where? I would imagine anywhere where people are employed. But there's no simple answer to that, right? I don't know. I don't know how you find these people. I know that I've had a bunch of father figures in my life various times. I mean, I had a dad. My dad's great. But, you run across other men who are doing stuff who will give you advice, take you under their wing. You're not going to always have somebody. But there's a lot of times there's a teacher. There's some sort of mentor. There are mentor programs out there for kids too. It's hard to get plugged in if you don't have someone to help you plug in, but they're there. Nigo says in Drek's voice, remember when Nick used to be cool? Yeah. Remember shots per 1,000? Remember 24 hours for 100,000 subs? Yeah, but don't kill yourself overworking yet. I do remember shots for 1,000 likes. At this point, there would be 3 shots on the stream because we're at 22.99 likes. So there was 1,000, then 1,500, then 2,000. I've taken well over 3 shots on this stream. So I have not called it out. If you guys want to add likes to that, you can. You got to catch up to me, though. You got to catch up to me, chat. Look at me. I'm the drinker now. STFU says, is there a filter big enough for that schnoz? Nope. Chris Walsh says, would love an analysis of the LAPD Burlington incident. Crazy guy attacks people with a bike lock. Cop shot him. Stray bullet kills a 14-year-old girl. Oh, my God. That's horrible. I'll have to check it out maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Look at my mustache. Incarnation Art says, Nick, please do greeting cards, lol, like Adam Sandler and Mr. Deeds. By the way, did you like the art I drew of you on Twitter? Yes, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. STFU says, MD plus JD are like multi-classing in D&D, not worth it. Mindy Wilson says, can you please do a toast to your poor liver? I think I have to do this. To my liver. May you have the desperately needed break that you deserve. Pastafarius says, Mr. Ricada, I followed the butter and herb smoked turkey recipe on howtobarbecueright.com for Thanksgiving this year. Skin turned out nice and crispy. Again, so the smoked turkey that we got was it's from a company green something. They do smoked turkeys. They're out of Tyler, Texas. The turkey meat is very good, but their skin is acknowledged to be leathery, not very edible. And I don't know if that's a process of the refrigeration and reheating or whatever it is. I'm not very sure, but they put a lot of smoke on that skin. I like to eat it, but it is tough to actually bite through. But it makes great smoky flavor in the stock. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Steven says, Nick, please don't do a cooking stream. You'd come off as a total 100% fruitcake like Viva. Don't be a goofy Canadian fruitcake like Viva. I've done tons of cooking streams, Steven, if that is your real name. I love cooking. It's fun. Retro Dude Man X says, my dad, the owner of this channel, passed away today during his dialysis session. He left a package for you. How can I send it to you? This is his son. Retro Dude Man X, if you're still there, I have a post office box posted in the description. God, I'm so sorry to hear about that. I really am. Really, I'm like the lowest on your priority list. I really am. Good Lord. But yeah, I mean, if you want to send it, the PO box again, it's in the description. But my goodness, please take care of you and yours, and know that my prayers are with your family. Sorry to hear that. Ishailson says, who would have the more disturbing after date smacks? This is how it always goes. Serious chat and then something like this. Russell with Taylor Swift or Shane and Cherkun? Well, no, Russell with Taylor Swift, actually. I just thought about Mobius Cunnilingus. So I hate you for putting that chat after the other chat. I'm trying. I can't laugh. Oh God. Mega Man Chronicle says, could you say happy birthday in either Kermit or John Richards' voice? Lol. Yes. Oh, sure. Happy birthday. Hope you have a wonderful one. I'm green with envy. And then let me follow up in Richards' voice. It's Mark Richards, not John Richards. Someone sent me a 14-inch penis made of chocolate. So happy birthday to me and you, I guess. Janet Morgan says, if you do watch the LAPD video, they have a video on their Facebook page that has the 911 calls all the way to the shooting. Snowboard Dan says, I heard about this when it first came out, but I live in Wisconsin. But I feel like all the riots and Kyle helped sweep this under the rug. Radio Ruin says, the abuse of young boys is so prolific in the gay community that it's not unfair to paint all gay men with that brush. To them, it's normal. Just ask Milo Yiannopoulos. Snowboard Dan says, Milwaukee is called Cream City because the cream colored bricks they use in the area. Also, Milwaukee Bucks use cream edition jerseys because of the same reason. Hey, there you go. Booksome Browncoat says, Milwaukee is Cream City because of the clay, not dairy. You guys say that. You guys, it's because of all the semen and you know it. As Cybertaz says, did someone say Cream Pie City? Jack Murphy. Oh, no. True Anana to Shabbat Bad Pressure Bad Calf Care says, what did you call the Ritz cracker yummy thing? Made them for Christmas and the whole family voted for it to be a tradition. I called them Wonder Witches because they're wonderful sandwiches. It's a shit name, but that's what I called them. Like Adam when he named various animals, like when he named platypus. What a shit name. Stupid name. But he came up with it. God was like, bro, platypus? Really? Really? Okay. Oh my God, this is awesome. Lol says, bring on Nick. As Cybertaz says, pegged to the wall. Jiffy the Magic Elf says, the only whiskey in my home is Fireball. Please have mercy on my soul. Oh, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Ziffa says, Cream City is for the color of Milwaukee bricks, which are cream. Local Milwaukee news stations other than Fox are silent on this. Also, Merry Christmas. I will never say the proper reason for Cream City being the name of Milwaukee because it resulted in several super chats. You guys are bad at classical conditioning. New dislike button says, reminder that the literal embodiment of the average Redditor meme known as Vouch wants to reduce the age of consent. Coincidence, the left loves kids. Uriah Wright says, look at what happened to Desmond is amazing. No, I don't want to look at Desmond is amazing ever. Pastafarius says Luke 17, 1 through 2. Debbie O says, warn before you read those aloud, I'll need to mute. Oh, sorry, Debbie. I thought I gave enough warning that was going to be horrifying. Sorry. Russell Wallace Warren says, Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey are selling children's diaries. They are. As Cybertaz says, was Flufferboy Binger familiar with this judge? I would not be surprised if he knew him biblically. By the way, Zuckerberg and Dorsey selling children's diaries, kind of funny because Facebook and Twitter are the diaries of people nowadays, right? But worse than that, Facebook and Twitter are the largest distributors of child pornography on the planet. Bar none. There is no website that even comes close. All of the crusades against like Pornhub and other places like, oh, you can disguise it on there. They don't need to disguise it on Facebook and Twitter. They just post it. I think YouTube is probably third. They have tons of it. Tons of child pornography. Takes them a while to moderate it. They get it moderated eventually, but it doesn't matter. The file transfers take place. Just remember that YouTube and Twitter or Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, they can scan your comment for if you're about to call a politician a fucking sack of garbage. They can figure out that you might not want to post that. But they can't figure out how to scan a video file and make sure it isn't child pornography before it gets sent. Why? By the way, Facebook and Twitter have a huge library of identified child pornography that have passed through their site already. They already have it. It's most likely, let's be really fucking real here, because they won't say this. It's almost guaranteed that any child pornography video that passes across Twitter or Facebook has been passed before, and they have a copy somewhere in the ether, not accessible to employees. I'm not putting that out there. That may be true, but I'm not putting that out there. Their AI has a copy of every single video, picture, whatever, of some kid being diddled or fucked by an adult. They have all that stuff. They have it. They already have it. It's already gone across it. Because here's the horrifying thing. When the FBI gets this shit, they've already seen these videos and pictures. They've already seen them. Twitter and Facebook and YouTube have too. They have algorithms to stop you from saying the N-word or whatever, because that's super fucking important. But they don't let their algorithms tackle the child pornography problem that is rampant on their websites. And fuck them for that. All right, sorry. S. Cybertaz says, was Flufferboy Binger familiar with this judge? PFUS says, we are 100% behind you in the fight for liberty. Uncivil Law says, what's up, nose boy? Hey, you too, buddy. R says, this is how all federal criminal cases go. Slight sentencing is not unique to this guy's case. It's a surprise he got more than 2 years. Jonathan Duger says, maybe 9 years gets cut short with a random shiv. James Krause says, I have a lot of free space in the walls of my office. Maps would hang nicely next to my whiteboard. Is your name really James Krause? Not that one. Your YouTube name needs to be James Krause, not that one though. Kem is Life says, I would like to point out there's a truck driver facing 110 years, yet this trash judge is only getting 9 years. What the hell? People versus Pred says, shame them. Mario Carter says, this isn't who I am, literally who he was. By the way, in my case, where my client confessed to and pled guilty to taking large amounts of money from the company that they work for, right? Had several letters that said, this is not who this person is. We've known this person to be a good character. We had no idea this was going on. And the judge used those letters against my client. Said, this is who you are. This is only who you are. I tell you what, I'll tell you the truth, like Jesus would say. I will side with someone who committed a property crime every single day of every single year before I will side with a child predator saying this is not who I am. Because I understand how embezzlement works. It's always the same. It's always the same thing. You start off, you have a problem, you fix it with company money, you intend to pay it back or whatever, it's always the same story. And then, but it was so easy and it solved the problem. And then you have another problem because this is how life goes. You have another problem. And then suddenly you have another problem and another problem and it's all justified. No one's ever getting you. And then years later, someone figures it all out because it takes a while for this to matriculate through the system. Because in a multi-million-dollar company, what's $100 that's missing? What's $200 that's missing? Suddenly it's what's $10,000 that's missing. What's $50,000 that's missing? Oh shit. Someone will catch it then. But at that point, it's already gone. The interesting thing is people who commit property crimes, that often isn't who they are. That often is a problem that comes up in their lives that they're trying to solve. People who commit child pornography crimes, people who want to fuck children, that is who they are. It's not like, oh man, I'm having a tough time with the credit card payment this month. I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, I lost my job. Oh, my spouse lost my job. Oh, my kid has this unexpected expense. Those are issues that come up. Wanting to fuck children doesn't just come up. People are not like, you know what? I'm having a rough go of it. Where's a 12-year-old? That's not how that works. That's how they always try to portray it, right? Oh, COVID's out there fucking ravaging people. I got a new job. You know what? I just had to fix it by wanting to fuck a 12-year-old. No. Are we kidding? But yet people equate them as if it's the same thing. It's not. There's not like, oh, man, I lost my job. It's really tough. You know how I get through this? Give me an 8-year-old. No. Literally never. Look, coming on hard times and stealing money doesn't excuse your stealing of money. It really does. Of course not. Money is the product of someone's labor. It's the representative manifestation of work. That's what money is. Whatever the value. Now we get these weird results, right? Because we're in a fiat economy where someone building a chair gets paid less than some jackass drinking and talking on YouTube. But that's the weird way that fiat currency works and rewards different professions in different ways. But at one point in time, the world was fucking sane and said, We value the work you put into this craft or trade, and therefore this craft or trade will go. And I'm being blithe about economies of scale and all that stuff, but it doesn't really matter. We value the effort you put into this thing. This thing has value. You can trade this thing for something else, right? That's before fiat currency. Now fiat currency assigns values to things based on what other people do, which is weird because it used to be like the guy who made chairs in your community was the guy who made chairs in your community. And then he would go and he'd sell a chair for a bunch of wheat or whatever, or some corn or some fish. I don't know. I don't know what he's eating. This guy's got a weird diet. He's not keto friendly. But now you get this global market. Everybody who makes chairs influences the ability of other people who make chairs to make money. But that's a whole separate thing. Stealing money. This is my ultimate point. I'm drunk rambly now. Stealing money is stealing the represented manifestation of their labor. And that is wrong. There is no excuse that justifies it. But there are reasons that help you understand why someone might steal money. Not Winona Ryder, right? Oh, I just wanted to take a thing because it's very risky. Ooh, the thrill of it. Not Winona Ryder, but when we're talking about people who come onto hard times and actually take money from a source that they know has money, that happens a lot. And those people are not excused from their crimes, but you can at least get an idea as to why they did it. Because there's a difference between Winona Ryder saying, oh, I just wanted the thrill of stealing, and someone saying, I didn't know how I was going to pay the bills. I didn't know how we were going to keep the house. I didn't know what else to do. Again, not justification, but understanding. There is no understanding for I want to fuck a kid. There's no understanding you could possibly bring up. It's not there. It's not a fix for a temporary problem. It's not a fix for a dark time in your life. Brett was on dark times. He was drinking a lot, and our open relationship wasn't staying at home. Why did you have an open relationship, you fucking weirdo? Stop that. You're fostering children. You're teaching them to be degenerate. You're teaching them to be awful. No Name says, so who have you stolen from? Come clean. I have never stolen. The one thing I tried to steal as a kid, right? I found we were in a store in a mall, and I picked an earring up off the floor that had fallen off of like one of the displays. It was just one. And I liked the way it looked because it was cool. It had like this gold wire that wrapped around. It's probably a $9 set of earrings. And I took one at a mall, and then I was acting weird. My dad's like, why are you acting so weird? And I showed him the earring, and my ass got a whooping, and I got sent right back to that store. I gave them the earring to the employee who literally could care less because they were, or couldn't care less because they were like a 19-year-old girl who's like, who fucking cares that you stole this thing? And I had to apologize. I was a little snot-faced and crying. I'm a little kid, like apologizing for stealing. That's the only thing I've ever tried to steal in my entire life. I don't steal stuff. Squizgar says an open relationship, but it works for us. Oh, really? How's that working out for you right now? Exactly. Wrestler Town says, my name is Brett. I fell asleep and woke up to you reading letters about what a good-natured perv I was. Radio Ruin says homosexuality is the root degeneracy from which all other degeneracy flows. It should be illegal. You can't kill a weed without pulling the root. What happens behind closed doors matters. Mario Carter says sentence matches the crime, under 18 years. No. Jiffy the Magic Elf says extra donation to say that not all gays are the same. Of course they're not. I'm a gay male, but I'm not a man like Brett. I'm attracted to masculinity, not children. Men that hurt children need to stop existing. Of course they're not. And that's why I said that. Like, I legitimately don't care about the gay thing. And you know, I just, whatever people want to do is fine, so long as it's with an adult. Potentially Criminal says, how many in-camera reviews in custody cases did he get to have a child alone in his chambers? Wendell says child diddlers should get the chair or the pill. Not one of us, says Nick. Look on the bright side. He's a child lover and a judge. How long do you think he'll last in prison? Too long. Jordan Jones says, so Nick, can we counter these letters? I'd love to send one in about how he made advances on child Pat Maaz, and would like to see him burn. No, sentencing is done. He was sentenced to the 9 years. There's no counter at this point. Reese Jones says the punishment for that should be being chained to a wall in the public square and let society determine your fate, failing that the children's family get a day alone with them. Drunk Shovel says every one of his kind should be turned into courthouse lawn ornaments, dangle them from every branch, decorate every tree. Jason Oppenheimer says, what's the preferred alcoholic drink to numb the damage to my brain over Brett Blum? Hopefully a very nice scotch or rye or bourbon, whatever you like. But for me today, it's been Four Roses limited edition, single barrel strength, small batch, 2021 release. Is a very good whiskey, by the way. That's what I'm using. Michael Turchin says, all I can think of is what I would do if anyone dared touch my daughter. Brings me to a dark place. Oh man. The amount of axes that would be required is something that you could not legally buy. As Cybertaz says, with my generation and older, he would leave town in the middle of the night and a patch of grass would become greener from extra chomo fertilizer. Michael Turchin says, is there a way to get in touch with you via email? Have some ideas for automation around your social media issues you mentioned. Yeah, you can. My email address is in the description. Just know that my email address gets flooded all the time, so I don't know. I might miss it. El Ganzo says, the U.S. family court system makes me lose all faith in humanity. 200 Watt Studio says, any news on police resigning after Potter? I mean, I only have the emails, so I haven't looked at data. Literature Devil says, would you be against having a cameo in a comic? Nope, not at all. Literature Devil. If you're writing a comic, I give you my permission. There you go. Whatever it is. Please use the permission responsibly. Joe Bobber says, hi, Nick. Did you cover the story of Gary Plausch? Man shot his son's abuser dead in front of LEO and got away with it. There's a video and interview. I didn't cover the story. I've referenced it several times. Everybody should go watch the Mad Lads by Count Dankula story on Gary Plausch. That'd be great. Stabby McStabswood says, Nick, we need a POTUS that's pro First Amendment, Second Amendment, cannabis, and public hangings for the diddlers. I nominate you. Time to start the biggest grift of your life. Alan Paxton says, got bottles of 10-year-old Whistlepig, damn expensive, Blanton's and Willits for Christmas. Never had these. Any quick thoughts on them? I like I like the Whistlepig and the Blanton's. Willet, I've never had their bourbon. I had their rye, and their rye was a little sour for me. I wasn't a big fan, but I hope their bourbon's good. 200 Watt Studio says, when does Marky's show start? It's pretty soon, I think. Scott Fletcher says, Jack definitely talks about homesteading. I had a conversation with him about fouling trees correctly after hearing him talk about the subject on Timcast. Oof. But he lives in a condo in DC. Okay. Frozen Toy says, love you, man. Great content and a great family, man. Hey, thank you. Baffled Buffoon says, please stop hating VTubers. We were born this way, /sarcasm. Sarah Palatichek says, homeschooling for the win. Talking with my 9-year-old today about Potter, I said, when she yelled taser, she actually gave indication of her state of mind, at which point she interrupted, you mean mens rea? Dang. Preseason Cookware says, this episode made me view the sinning map on Dora in a different light. Poorly Redacted says, in the beginning, the universe was created. This has made a lot of people very angry and been widely regarded as a bad move. Frank says, how do you deal with a crass sense of humor and being a Christian? Feel like I'm not being a good one, being vulgar, but it's hard stopping. Frank, what's the expression? But for the grace of God, go I. If God can forgive a murderer, I'm pretty sure he's fucking okay with me saying some profanity from time to time. That's how. Also, it's never the words themselves. It's always the intent behind them. Right? You should not and I fail at this, but you should not use profanity and anger against people that you care about and stuff like that. From time to time, I'll mess up on that, but I'll feel bad about it. I'll never fucking feel bad about calling a map that needs to be a wall ornament. I hope that helps. But I think the words that we use are probably the lowest on God's totem pole of cares about what we do in our lives. 200 Watt Studio says, please have Drexel explain to Flash why being in the boot for your woman is the right thing to do if she desires it. Junebug says, no ball Fuda is large clit that do number one. S.I. Rataz says, Jack Murphy should move to Indiana. The sugar cream pie is the state pie. Clean that plate, Jackie boy. Slurp, slurp. Looks like some on your beard. Tyler Ventura says, Barnes said on Viva tonight that Chu will give Potter a harsh sentence. Any reason why you think she won't? Nope. No. Brack Peeper, welcome to lawyer status. Very much appreciated. 200 Watt Studio says, before you put the D in the B, check for the brown by wiping it down. Nod Heisenberg says, Jack Murphy is starting a man cult, the liminal order. He said that men need to take a medical blood test to be allowed in. Why? I guess to make sure it's not women or trans or something. Look, whatever Jack's doing, I wish him all of the success in the world. I cannot fucking imagine paying a guy to teach me how to be a man and finding out that he was a goddamn cuck. I can't imagine it. $1,000 a year. By the way, here's $1,000. Why is your girlfriend getting fucked by Matt from Tinder? What? Wait, what? Is that the advice? I can't imagine that. Crusader says, so how many organs did you sell for your kids' Legos? All of them. All of them. But the trick is I'm ruining the liver. They'll never see it coming. Kyan Rennell says in Richard's voice, Your Honor, my client was forced to disseminate child pornography due to depression brought on by COVID. For that reason, I'm going to ask for the minimum sentence, Your Honor. Mitchell Kirkwood says, next watch party, Dragon Day on Prime. Lord Gavin says, why even have a relationship if it's an open one? Correct. Clickworth says, you've spoken before about chest rubbing during arguments. When can we expect you and Legal Mindset to rub on stream? I'll rub that man's nipples harder than anybody's ever rubbed anything in their life. C Goody 564 says he doesn't deserve protective custody. He deserves for Bubba to treat him like he treated kids. Jivy the Magic Elf says, final donation before I go to bed to ask if you'd ever be up to playing Phasmophobia or Fall Guys with me after one of your streams. Public knows okay. Jivy the Magic Elf, I love playing Phasmophobia. I like playing it with people who are in my Discord or whatever. I have no problem with it. I don't know when I'll do it. That's the thing. So happy to be up for it. I've never played Fall Guys, but Phasmophobia, yeah, for sure. I just haven't been around for it. Meatitarian says, here's an idea. We set aside a national park where we send these people and then hunt them for sport. Kyan Rennell says, I like my whiskey like my lovers, age 15 years. Just kidding. No! Tor Theo says, Gary Ploush, you mean St. Ploush, the cleanser. S. Cybertaz says, if Rial and Markey have on-screen donations, hijinks. John Lee says, if Congress has a Republican landslide in 2020, can we investigate and prosecute Fauci? Probably not, but maybe. And then new dislike button says, I hereby speak for all of Indiana when I say Jack is banned from stepping into this state unless he goes to Gary. He can have Gary or Indy. There you go, guys. That's the show. That's the chats. Thank you all so much for participating. Oh, I guess I need to check Odyssey real quick. Shit, there's some Odyssey. Hey, what's up, Odyssey? I had you guys pulled up and then I moved you off. Sorry. Feral Witch says the petition is older than hashtag pick a side YouTube, but the push really is to force YouTube to clear up their vague policies, enforce them properly across the board, and stop letting abusers take advantage of the gaping holes in their policies that silence people from talking about animal abuse, child abuse, etc. Zalcor says, hey, Nick, how was Christmas? It was great, buddy. I chose not to celebrate anymore. I cannot in good conscience celebrate a holiday of dubious origins and practices and pretend that everything is fine in the face of this dystopia. It was pretty boring and dead anyways. Like, okay, look, Zalcor, let me just say this. Let me just say this. Of all the things in the world to crusade against, you can crusade against anything you want. But Christmas, crusading against Christmas, I don't care if you're the biggest atheist on the planet or whatever. You don't have to believe in the origins of Christmas or anything. Take the holiday, spend time with friends and family, and just reflect briefly on how great it is to be you. That's Christmas. That's Christmas for the overwhelming majority of people. And I think that's fine. I think that's fine. You don't need to like honor the life and death of Jesus Christ. Maybe you should. I mean, that's up to you to figure out. But you don't have to go on a crusade against Christmas. Spend some time with your family. Spend some time with some friends. Have some good food. Give them a gift that, it doesn't have to be expensive or whatever. And just revel in the fact that for one day we can come together and just enjoy each other. That's it. That's my advice to you. Engine Idiot says, "Hey, Nick, could I get a sip from my dad? He's a man who, although never held a college degree, has been able to thrive in his job and be a great father. He's not dead. We just like to see you get drunk." Yeah, I'd love to take a drink for someone who's alive. That's awesome, too. Great US says, "Just woke up and started watching from the beginning. Welcome to my world of fucked up sleep schedule. Been suffering like that since 2000. But 2012 to 2014 were extreme and weakened to the point I struggled to understand a handful of sentences." Damn. Great US says, "Do you check your alt social media much? Maybe weekly now that day-long trials and holidays are over. Found a couple of gold nuggets on your Gab about Rittenhouse, including what looks like a BJ during the self-defense shootings." I have not been good at that. I need to get better at it. I really do. It's a thing I have to put into practice or hire someone to put into practice. But by the way, Engine Idiot, to your dad, a good man who's still alive and working against all of those predetermined necessities that society has told men that they have to have. And that men lately are waking up saying, "I don't need you. I can be an electrician. Fuck off. I can be a plumber. Fuck off. I can build a house. Fuck off. What can you do? What can you do? Oh, you can go into court and use your fancy words. Fuck off. I can build a house. I can build a shed. I can build an outhouse and dump you in it, you piece of shit." Carpenters make lawyers look like babies. Anyway, to your dad, out there making lawyers look like fucking babies and pussies every day of his life. Cheers, buddy. Feral Witch says, "The redheaded stepchildren were acknowledged. Love you, Nick." Yes. There you go. All right, guys. That's that. I'm going to go over to Twitch. Oh, we're right at 3 hours. I'm going to go over to Twitch. We're going to watch Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze, and some big titty blonde. It'll be perfect. I'll see you guys there. Thanks for hanging out today. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some lost-splaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes madder, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed, to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an art bag, a bow, more of love rug. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea, post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the wrong better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Dundee to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea, post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the wrong better than Nick. So pour out a glass for